gentlemen, let me start by telling you something that may shock you. Getting rich is super easy. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, that's not possible. There's no way it can be that simple, but let me tell you, it really is. You see, wealth isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about the mindset, the attitude, and the belief that you deserve it. The real secret to getting rich is not in the how, it's in overcoming the negative feelings that hold you back. The first and most important thing I want you to understand is that success starts in the mind. Before anything can change in your life, you have to first change the way you think. Getting rich is not just about knowing the right business moves or having the right connections. It's about cultivating a mindset that is ready to receive abundance. Think about it for a moment. What happens when you wake up in the morning? Are you excited for the day ahead, or do you feel weighed down by negativity and doubt? Your mindset has a direct influence on the actions you take, and the actions you take determine the results you get. If you wake up believing that today is going to be a great day, your actions will reflect that belief. But if you wake up already defeated, already assuming things won't work out, then your actions will align with that belief as well. The truth is, most people don't get what they want because they don't believe it's possible. They are trapped in a cycle of negative thinking, constantly doubting themselves, their worth, and their potential. They think that wealth, success, and happiness are reserved for others, not for them. But the only thing standing between you and what you want is the belief that you can achieve it. And once you change that belief, everything changes. When I say shift your mindset, I'm talking about an internal transformation. It's about changing your relationship with money, with success, and with your own abilities. You have to stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles to get by and start seeing yourself as someone who is capable of achieving greatness. You have to stop thinking that wealth is for the lucky few and start believing that it is available to anyone who is willing to put in the work and take the steps needed to attract it into their lives. One of the most powerful things you can do is replace your limiting beliefs with empowering ones. How many times have you told yourself that you're not good enough, or that you're too old, too young, too inexperienced, too unlucky to succeed? These are all lies. Those thoughts are not facts, they are just beliefs that you've allowed to take root in your mind. And let me tell you, those beliefs are not helping you get closer to your dream. They are holding you back. Now's the time to replace those old negative beliefs with new empowering ones. Instead of telling yourself, I can't do it, start saying, I can do it. Instead of thinking it's too hard, start thinking, I am capable of figuring this out. Instead of believing I'll never have enough, start believing there is more than enough for me. This shift in mindset is not just about positive thinking. It's about aligning your thoughts with your goals. It's about choosing to believe in your own power and your own worth and in your ability to create the life you want. It's about becoming a person who sees opportunities instead of obstacles. Someone who looks at challenges as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. Someone who looks at challenges as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, that sounds great, but how do I actually do that? How do I change the way I think? It starts with awareness. You have to become aware of the thoughts you're having and the beliefs you're holding. When a negative thought arises, don't let it pass unchecked. Stop and ask yourself, is this really true? Is this belief serving me? Is it helping me move closer to my dreams? If the answer is no, then it's time to replace that thought with a more empowering one. The next step is repetition. You have to constantly feed your mind with the thoughts and beliefs that will help you succeed. You can do this by surrounding yourself with positive influences. Read books, listen to podcasts, and seek out people who are already living the kind of life you want. You have to reinforce your new mindset every day, because just like building a muscle, it takes time to strengthen your new way of thinking. And here's the most important thing to remember. Your mindset is a choice. You can choose to let negative thoughts control you, or you can choose to change them. You can choose to see yourself as a victim of circumstances, or you can choose to see yourself as the creator of your own destiny. The choice is yours. When you shift your mindset, everything changes. You'll start taking actions that align with your new beliefs, and those actions will lead to the success you've been dreaming of. So the first step to getting rich isn't about finding the right investment or waiting for the right opportunity. It's about changing the way you think. It's about believing that you are worthy of success and that you can create the life you desire. And once you do that, getting rich will become not just a possibility, but an inevitable outcome. Yeah, one of the greatest obstacles to success is fear. Fear has the power to paralyze you, to make you second-guess yourself, and to stop you from taking the very actions that could lead to your greatest achievements. But here's the truth. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is just a feeling, and feelings, my friends, are not facts. The real question is, what are you going to do when fear shows up at your door? I want you to realize something very powerful. Everyone has fear. Every successful person, every entrepreneur, every individual who has ever accomplished something great, they've all faced fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, and fear of what others might think. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond to that fear. Successful people don't let fear stop them. They move forward in spite of it. Think about it for a moment. When you're afraid, it often feels like the world is against you. Your mind starts to tell you all the reasons why you can't do something. It whispers, what if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if it doesn't work out? The truth is, those are just stories your mind creates to keep you comfortable. But comfort and growth don't live in the same space. To grow, you have to step out of your comfort zone. Fear is a liar. It tries to convince you that you're not capable, that the risks aren't worth it, that it's safer to stay where you are. But the only thing standing between you and success is your willingness to move beyond fear. You have to ask yourself, what's scarier? Taking the risk and potentially failing, or staying stuck in the same place, never knowing what could have been? When you really think about it, the fear of staying stagnant is often greater than the fear of taking a leap. Now, I'm not saying that fear doesn't serve a purpose. There are moments when fear can protect us, keep us safe, and alert us to real dangers. But most of the time, the fear we feel in our pursuit of success isn't based on real threats. It's based on perceived threats. It's based on a story we tell ourselves about the worst possible outcome. And let me tell you, that story is often far worse than reality. The key to overcoming fear is taking action, even when you don't feel ready. The truth is, you'll never feel completely ready. There will always be that voice in your head that tells you, maybe tomorrow, maybe when the circumstances are perfect. But here's the thing. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. Perfection doesn't exist. Success isn't about waiting for everything to align. It's about taking the next step, even when the path isn't clear. When you take action, you stop allowing fear to control you. You face fear head on, and you show it that it doesn't have the power to stop you. I want you to understand that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite fear. Every time you take a step in the direction of your dreams, you're telling fear, I'm not going to let you hold me back. The more you face fear, the less power it has over you. The first time you step out of your comfort zone, it's scary. But the second time, it's a little easier. And the third time, it's even easier than that. With every step, you become stronger, more confident, and more capable. Now let's talk about failure for a moment, because that's a big part of fear. The fear of failing can be overwhelming, but I want you to know this. Failure is not the end. Failure is a lesson. It's a stepping stone on the road to success. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to come back stronger. So when fear of failure creeps in, remind yourself that it's not about whether you win or lose. It's about how you respond. Failure is simply feedback. And as long as you don't quit, you haven't lost. In the end, fear is something we all have to face. But it's not something we have to let control us. You have the power to move past it, to take action despite it, and to keep pushing forward toward your dreams. The more you face your fears, the more you will discover that they are not as powerful as you once thought. And once you conquer those fears, there will be nothing standing in the way of your success. So take that first step, face your fears head on, and watch how your life starts to change. One of the most powerful forces that can stand in the way of your success is negative thinking. It can creep into your mind like a shadow, often without you even realizing it. And before you know it, it starts to dictate how you feel about yourself and your potential. Negative thoughts can hold you back, cloud your judgment, and steal your confidence. But I want you to hear this loud and clear. Negative thoughts do not control your future unless you let them. The truth is, your mind is your most powerful tool, and it's also the most powerful weapon you have against adversity. The thoughts you think will shape the reality you experience. If you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, or I'll never make it, then your actions will reflect that belief. You'll make decisions based on that limited mindset, and those decisions will create results that match those beliefs. But the good news is, you have the power to change those thoughts. You can choose to let your mind become your ally, not your enemy. You see, the brain doesn't distinguish between a thought that's true and a thought that's not. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The way you view yourself and your abilities plays a huge role in the outcomes you create in life. If you constantly focus on the negative, your mind will begin to look for more negative things to support those beliefs. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you dwell on what's not working, the more you'll see that reflected in your life. But I'm here to tell you that you have the power to change this. You have the power to choose your thoughts. The moment you catch yourself thinking something negative, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is this thought getting me closer to my goals? If the answer is no, then it's time to replace it with a positive, empowering thought. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be better than the negative one. If you think I'll never be successful, then replace it with I am capable of achieving great things, and I will take the necessary steps to get there. And I will take the necessary steps to get there. The key here is awareness. The first step to taking control of your thoughts is becoming aware of them. So many people go through life on autopilot, allowing negative thoughts to guide their actions without even realizing it. But once you start paying attention to your internal dialogue, you'll begin to see how much of it is working against you. The moment you become aware of a negative thought is the moment you can start to change it. But it's not just about replacing one thought with another. It's about shifting your entire mindset. Instead of focusing on the problems, focus on the solutions. Instead of saying, this is too hard, say, I'm capable of overcoming challenges. Instead of thinking, I don't have the resources, say, I'll find a way or I'll make one. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. Soon, your mind will automatically start looking for opportunities, for solutions, and for ways to move forward instead of dwelling on the obstacles in your path. Another important aspect of overcoming negative thoughts is understanding that thoughts are just thoughts. They don't define who you are. And just because you think something negative doesn't mean it's true. Negative thoughts are like passing clouds in the sky. They come and go, but they don't have to stay. You don't have to entertain them, and you don't have to act on them. The more you practice detaching yourself from negative thoughts, the easier it becomes to let them pass without holding on to them. Now, let's be honest. There will be days when negative thoughts try to creep in more powerfully. On those days, remind yourself that you are in control. You have the power to choose where you focus your energy. You have the power to feed your mind with thoughts of success, positivity, and possibility. The thoughts you hold on to will create the actions you take, and those actions will ultimately create your life. It's also important to surround yourself with positivity. When you fill your life with positive influences, whether that's through reading uplifting books, listening to motivational speakers, or spending time with people who lift you up, you create an environment where negativity struggles to survive. You become what you surround yourself with. And when you choose positivity, you begin to see the world in a different light. The bottom line is this: your thoughts are your greatest asset, and you can choose to control them. Negative thoughts will always show up, but you don't have to let them control your life. You don't have to let them keep you stuck. You can choose to focus on what's possible, on what's good, and on what's working. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes to create a mindset of success. And once you do that, you'll see that nothing, not even negative thoughts, can stand in the way of your dreams. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on the direction of your life. Whether you realize it or not, the energy, attitudes, and mindsets of the people closest to you will either uplift you or drag you down. If you're going to achieve success, if you're going to truly unlock your potential and get rich in every sense of the word, it is absolutely crucial to surround yourself with positivity. This is not just about having people around who make you feel good in the moment. It's about creating an environment that supports your growth, your ambitions, and your highest goals. Think about it. You spend so much of your time and energy with the people in your life. If those people are constantly telling you what you can't do, feeding you negativity, or draining your energy, how can you ever expect to rise above your current circumstances? You can't. Negative energy is contagious, and if you're not careful, it will infect your thoughts, your actions, and your results. That's why it's crucial to choose your inner circle wisely. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is surrounding yourself with people who don't believe in your vision. I'm not talking about people who are skeptical, but those who actively try to bring you down. Those who say, you'll never make it, or that's impossible, or you don't have what it takes. These people may not do it out of malice, but they're projecting their own fears and limitations onto you. They don't see the vision you see because they don't believe it's possible for themselves, and they want to keep you in that same limited space. You cannot afford to let anyone dim your light. If you want to achieve greatness, you need to be around people who will light a fire under you, who will encourage you, and who will push you to be better every single day. It's not enough to just be around people who are positive in the moment. You need people who will challenge you, who will hold you accountable, and who will inspire you to rise to the occasion. Think about the people in your life right now. Do they encourage you to chase your dreams? Do they lift you up when you're feeling low? Or do they bring you down with their words and attitudes? You need to ask yourself, are these the people who are helping me become the best version of myself? Or are they holding me back? It's not just about who you spend time with. It's about what you consume. Surrounding yourself with positivity also means feeding your mind with positive thoughts, ideas, and influences. That's why the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the TV shows you watch, and the social media you engage with matter. All of these things influence your thoughts and your mindset. If you're constantly feeding your mind with negativity, with stories of failure and with content that reinforces limiting beliefs, how can you expect to think positively? You can't. You need to be intentional about what you allow into your life. The more you surround yourself with positivity, the more natural it becomes to think positively, act positively, and move positively toward your goals. If you're constantly around people who see opportunities instead of obstacles, who focus on solutions instead of problems, and who are constantly working toward their dreams, then it won't take long for you to adopt the same mindset. You'll start to see things differently. Instead of seeing a challenge, you'll see an opportunity. Instead of thinking, I can't, you begin to think, I can and I will. Positivity isn't about blind optimism. It's about choosing to focus on what's good, what's possible, and what's within your control. It's about making a conscious decision to focus on growth, on learning, and on progress, instead of getting bogged down by setbacks and failures. When you surround yourself with people who have this same outlook, you create a circle of influence that propels you forward. But remember, surrounding yourself with positivity is a two-way street. It's not just about finding people who lift you up. You also have to be that person for others. If you want to attract positive, like-minded individuals into your life, you have to be a source of positivity yourself. Offer encouragement, lend a hand when needed, and inspire others with your actions. The energy you give will come back to you, and the more positivity you put into the world, the more you'll receive in return. You have to be strategic about the people you allow into your circle, because their influence can make or break your journey. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage your dreams, and who challenge you to rise above. These are the people who will help you go farther than you ever thought possible. And if you don't have that circle right now, don't worry. You can create it. Start seeking out individuals who inspire you, who challenge you, and who will help you become the person you need to be to reach your full potential. Your environment can be a powerful force in your life, so make it a positive one. One of the most critical factors in achieving success is taking action, especially when you don't feel like it. The truth is, motivation is fleeting. Some days you'll wake up feeling inspired and ready to take on the world, while other days the last thing you'll want to do is put in the effort. But here's the thing. Your success is determined by what you do when you don't feel like doing anything at all. Let's face it. Life isn't always going to be sunshine and rainbows. There are going to be moments when you're tired, when you're discouraged, and when it feels like nothing is going your way. During those times, the easy thing to do is to give up, to put things off, or to simply do nothing. But here's the catch. The most successful people are not the ones who feel motivated all the time. They're the ones who push through when motivation is nowhere to be found. Taking action when you don't feel like it is about building discipline and creating momentum. It's about understanding that success doesn't come from occasional bursts of motivation. It comes from consistent, persistent effort. Even if you're not feeling inspired, even if you're not in the mood, doing something, even if it's small, moves you closer to your goals. Think about the times in your life when you've made progress. Was it because you felt amazing every single day? Or was it because you showed up day after day, regardless of how you felt? The truth is, success is often the result of doing things when it's hard, when you don't feel like it, and when it's easier to make excuses. But by showing up, by taking action, you're building the habits and routines that will lead you to success. Now, I know that sometimes taking action feels daunting. Maybe the task ahead seems too big or too overwhelming. You look at your goals and think, how could I possibly get there? It feels like climbing a mountain and the summit seems so far away. But here's the key. Don't focus on the whole mountain. Just take one step at a time. You don't have to solve everything at once. You just need to take that first step and then the next and the next. Each step you take will give you the momentum you need to keep going. Another important thing to remember is that action breeds confidence. The more you take action, the more you begin to trust yourself and your abilities. You'll start to realize that you're capable of more than you thought. You don't have to wait until you feel ready to take action, because you'll never feel completely ready. But when you start taking action, even if it's imperfect, you'll learn, you'll adapt, and you'll become more capable. And with each action you take, your confidence will grow, and that will fuel you to take even more action. Think of the times you've achieved something significant in your life. Did it happen because you waited for the perfect moment or the perfect feeling? Probably not. It happened because you made the decision to take action, even when it wasn't easy, even when it was uncomfortable, and even when you didn't have all the answers. Success is a product of consistent action, not perfection. Sometimes we get caught up in the idea that everything has to be flawless from the start, and that paralyzes us. We overthink, we overanalyze, and we waste precious time waiting for the right moment. But the truth is, you don't need to have everything figured out before you take action. In fact, taking action often reveals the path. The more you try, the more you learn, and the more you understand what works and what doesn't. So instead of waiting for the stars to align or for the perfect circumstances, focus on taking one small step forward, even if it's imperfect. And let's talk about the power of consistency. It's easy to get excited about something at the beginning, but what really matters is showing up consistently even when the initial excitement fades. It's about doing the work day in and day out regardless of how you feel. When you commit to consistent action, you create momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. With enough consistent effort, what once seemed impossible starts to become inevitable. Lastly, taking action is the key to overcoming fear and doubt. When you feel scared or unsure, it's natural to hesitate, to procrastinate, and to doubt yourself. But what you may not realize is that every time you take action in spite of that fear, you diminish its power. Fear and doubt can only control you if you allow them to. But when you act in spite of them, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. But every action you take builds courage. And every step forward silences the voice that tells you you can't. So the next time you don't feel like taking action, remember this. Taking action is the key to your success. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about showing up, doing the work, and staying consistent even when the motivation is absent. Every small step you take builds momentum, builds confidence, and gets you closer to the life you desire. Don't wait for motivation. Create it with your actions. And remember, it's the action you take when you don't feel like it that will define your future. Oh, one of the most powerful and transformative lessons you can learn on the path to success is that failure is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Too often we see failure as the end of the road, a sign that we're not good enough, or proof that we're not cut out for success. But in reality, failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. Every failure is a stepping stone, a lesson, and an opportunity for growth. The most successful people in the world didn't achieve greatness by avoiding failure. They achieved greatness by learning from it and using it to propel themselves forward. When we fail, it's easy to feel defeated, discouraged, or even embarrassed. We're worried about what others will think or about how our failure reflects on our abilities. But the truth is, failure is a natural part of the journey to success, and it's something everyone experiences. The key to overcoming failure is changing the way we view it. Instead of seeing it as a setback, We need to see it as a lesson. So when we feel down, notify others about the fact that failure just began. Press 1. For example, every failure offers us valuable insights and teaches us something that can make us stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next challenge. The idea of endings resonated with me across my whole body. When you embrace failure as a lesson, you stop fearing it. You understand that failure is simply feedback that tells you what didn't work, what needs to change, and where you can improve. But without failure, you would never know what needs to be adjusted. You'd keep going down the same path, making the same mistakes, and missing out on the opportunity to grow. Failure allows you to reevaluate your approach, learn from your mistakes, and make better decisions moving forward. One of the most important aspects of embracing failure is to remember that failure doesn't define you. Just because you fail doesn't mean you are a failure. Failing at something doesn't mean you're not capable or that you'll never succeed. Failure is an event, not an identity. It's simply a part of the process, and it doesn't diminish your worth or your potential. The only thing that can define you is how you respond to failure. Do you let it stop you? Or do you use it as a lesson and continue moving forward with renewed strength? It's also important to recognize that failure is often the most direct path to success. Some of the most successful people in history failed countless times before they achieved their goals. Thomas Edison, for example, famously failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But he didn't see those failures as defeats. He saw them as experiments, each one bringing him closer to the solution. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is what ultimately led to his success. Similarly, failures are often what reveal your true potential. When things are easy, it's easy to stay comfortable and coast along. But when you face failure, that's when your character is tested. It's when you dig deep, find the strength to get back up, and refuse to quit that you discover just how capable you are. Failure pushes you to grow, to become more resilient, and to develop the perseverance necessary to achieve your long-term goals. But here's the catch. You can't let failure hold you back. It's easy to become discouraged, to get stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, or to think that you're just not meant to succeed. However, the most important thing you can do after a failure is to keep going. The most successful people are not those who never fail. They're the ones who fail, get up, and keep going. They don't let failure define them, and they don't let it stop them. They use failure as fuel to keep pushing forward, knowing that each failure brings them one step closer to their ultimate goal. And when you embrace failure as a lesson, you also stop letting it control your emotions. Failure can sting, no doubt about it. But it doesn't have to devastate you. It doesn't have to make you give up on your dreams or lose sight of your vision. You are in control of your reaction to failure. You can choose to learn from it, grow from it, and move on stronger than before. The more you fail and keep going, the less power failure has over you. In the end, success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about how you respond to it. Embrace failure as a necessary part of the journey and use it as a springboard for greater success. When you learn to view failure as a lesson rather than a defeat, you open the door to endless possibilities. You realize that failure is simply another opportunity to get better, to try again, and to ultimately achieve what you set out to accomplish. Remember, it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up, learn from the experience, and continue moving forward toward your goal.